Maybe tell us about the shaved heads. What all went behind that?
Yeah, so we've been raising money with Versus Cancer for pediatric brain cancer, and so we've raised over $23,000 for that just over the course of the fall into this early spring, and something that we did at Texas A&M, partnered with Versus Cancer, and kind of culminates with shaving of the heads to support the kids, and so we all went all in on it. Some's going to grow back probably better than others, but fun deal we did yesterday, and just kind of a team bonding deal too.
Is that cause close to anybody's heart? Has that affected somebody?
Not necessarily. Just kind of something that was brought to us at A&M with Rob probably 5 or 6 years ago that we did year after year, and we just felt like it was always a good cause, and raised close to $25,000 a year for it. So just to be able to give back that way, and again, it's kind of something that everybody does together, right before the season starts too.
I know you guys have kind of been doing individual stuff the last few weeks. Well, what are you kind of hoping to get done, I guess, over the next few weeks here?
Yeah, it's all about the live at-bats at this point. We'll have live at-bats today. Hopefully tomorrow we'll be able to get outside a little bit warmer. Just the position battles right now that are going on, and will probably continue to go on here for the next 3 weeks. There's guys that are squaring balls up consistently. What are the guys doing on the mound, throwing strikes, multiple pitches for a strike, trying to iron out who the guys are that are going to be the 3 weekend starters. First weekend we got 4 starters, so those position battles really.
How many guys you kind of having to stretch out now to be potentially starting, given that you have 4 right out of the gates, and then also just making changes?
Yeah, so we probably got about 7 or 8 guys that we're stretching out that are going to get up and down probably 3 times in their outings today, yesterday, and then tomorrow. Hopefully build some of those guys up to 4. Maybe by the end of next week we'll have a better feel for who we're going to kind of pare it down to. But I think the strength of our staff is we have multiple guys that can turn the lineup over. So even early on, you don't have to extend a pitch count maybe, where you could go to another guy that could eat up 2 or 3 innings out of the pen. I feel like when we stretch enough guys out, we can have maybe piggyback some guys, and then we have that 4th game. So I think you have some pretty good options there.
Well, you talked about this in the fall about the momentum generated from last year's success. Do you still feel that? I know it's been a few months since you've maybe been together, in a team setting like this, but you still feel a little bit of that?
I think the momentum comes from your day-to-day mindset, I guess. I mean, you had the momentum of how the season ended, where it didn't end the way you wanted it to, but you had a good run, you won a championship, you see where you're kind of hopefully going. Recruiting class helped, that with getting all the guys to campus, but just the momentum we feel is honestly coming back here and seeing where the team is at right now. It's the team aspect of it, where I would say in the fall we were probably further away. We were a collection of talent, but we've really worked hard to get the team aspect going. So I think that's the momentum that we feel the last couple of weeks that we've been going with the small group stuff, is like just getting the guys back together, seeing that chemistry where it's at and where it's hopefully going, and just that day-to-day mindset, the urgency that it takes to be great. I think this team is starting to grasp that even as we head into the first full practice.
As guys come through the offseason, as far as guys making progress and kind of moving through.
Yeah, I said this in the fall, you can throw batting averages and ERAs a little bit out the window, because some guys just have a little bit more difficult transition, with the 15 freshmen that we have coming in. Some guys look totally different physically, put on 10 or 15 pounds. So, I feel like we're in a good spot that way, as far as just seeing guys show up, and again, a lot of it is just to be a baseball player on a championship level team, you have to show up every day. Like you can't take days off. So I think that's the thing I'm most excited about, is we probably had about 25 guys, so just over half the roster. You got 20 returners and about 5 guys that probably got it right away. Now we're closer to 30. If we can get it to 40 by the time the season starts, we're in a good spot.
When you talk about these freshmen and newcomers that are in, typically do you kind of get a sense of what those guys could be in the fall, or is it this time right now in that month leading up where you really have a sense that they could maybe be immediate contributors?
You see it right away, I think. I think you see guys, their talent level can they hit the pitcher's best fastball right away? I mean, those are things that Bryce and Max did immediately last year when they stepped foot on campus. Jack Style to a degree as well. That's why those guys played more, and we felt comfortable with those guys playing right away. So I think you're gonna run into a little bit of that with guys at times where you see it right away. Some guys take a little bit longer. I think you can kind of the mentality part of it too. If a guy comes right in and blends in well with the team personality wise, I feel like it's a lot easier for him to step right in and play right away. So there's going to be probably at least a couple of freshmen that you'll see early, positionally especially.
Not saying he's one of them, but what have you seen from Drew Christo? Obviously, an in-state guy, touted, a lot of options. What has he shown you guys so far?
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously got the talent jumps off the page. I mean, the fastball's a really good pitch. He's super competitive. He's a great teammate. He's a great student, great in the community. I mean, all the things you bet on when you put a kid in a game, you bet on all that character shining through and coming to the forefront. And we've got talent like that too. I think those are obviously great attributes. So with him, you know, it's a matter of fastball command, not just throwing strikes, but commanding both sides of the plate and then, you know, developing a second pitch. So those are things that he's continuing to work on, and he'll certainly have a lot of big moments for this team this year, I believe.
How do you think that Max Anderson's role in the lineup might change this year, just with the departure of some of the guys who had to leave?
Yeah, he settled pretty comfortably in that 5-hole last year. For us, I'd say we probably slide him up to make sure he gets up in the first inning this year, no matter what, whether it's hitting in a 2 or 3 hole. You know, he's learning a new position last year at third base, and just seeing him just get more comfortable at it over the course of the fall. Where he's at now is night and day defensively. So he's a guy that, you know, last year we DH'd at times to get him off his feet, to maybe clear his head. See him third base pretty much every day. Maybe some first base if we need it, but probably hitting 2 or 3 in the order.
I guess we're talking in a minute, but what was different about Shea?
I would say certainly less self-inflicted, you know, deal with walks and hit by pitches that, you know, if you give up a hit, maybe it turns into a crooked number. I think the fastball command, I spoke to that a little bit about Christo. Shea's always thrown strikes. Shea throws more quality strikes now, where the glove side fastball away to the righty. I mean, he can throw that pitch and then throw the 2 sliders off of that. That is a tough combination, and now he's got a changeup. So the changeup to lefts is a kind of a neutralizer there. So he's just, you know, another year more mature. You know, getting him back to school as a 4th-year guy has been huge, and he's really turned himself into a pitcher.
Will, day one, what are the emotions and what do you guys try to get accomplished?
The emotions are we're excited to get better today, and we're just trying to, again, I sound like a broken record at times, but I'm literally just focused on winning today, and that's what our team, that's the point we're trying to get to, is where we're as excited about this day as we are, you know, day number 11 of practice when we're all ready to go play somebody else. So just excited to get going.
You guys trying to go outside?
We were going to go outside. We're going to go outside tomorrow.
Sure.
Yep.
The expectations are high for this season. You guys won a championship last season, and you're ranked in several preseason polls. How are you guys handling the expectations, and what is your message to your team?
Get better today. I mean, that's the message. We don't really talk about a whole lot of things that we can't control, good or bad. I know a lot was made of last year's team, not picked very high, and maybe use that as motivation. I would say maybe initially that was something that was brought up to the team, but I wouldn't say it was something that we talked about ever. It's a different set of circumstances potentially this year with, you know, the expectations were fairly low. Last year we knew internally what we had. This year, some national rankings, you know, those type of things. It's like you're never as good as you think you are, you're never as bad as you think you are. So we got to be in the middle all the time and just be as good as we possibly can on today and tomorrow, and then do it again the next day. And then again, you find yourself in some big games. You don't try to rise to the occasion if that's the case. So just try to block out the outside noise by having your blinders on and working hard in the moment. I know again, easier said than done, but the good teams, the great teams can do it.
How are you guys health-wise going into
Health-wise, we're in a great spot. We've got pretty much all of our arms available. Gomez is back. I know that may be a question, but he looks great. he's worked really hard. I mean, he's had a couple of major setbacks, and he's worked awfully hard to get back, and he looks great. So we're healthy, and we've got a lot of options available that way.
All good with Coach?